just when you thought that 2020 could not get any more wild, my man Cam Newton finds his brand new team in, sticking with the theme, I guess, the New England Patriots. And it's kind of mind-boggling to think about when we're talking about the one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time leaving your organization, and what are you going to replace him with? Well, an hour ago, it didn't look like much, and now we're talking about a former league MVP. It's just crazy how things can change in a split second, and that's really what we're dealing with here. So I just wanted to come to you guys with my kind of initial thoughts, initial reaction, because really this move did just happen 20 minutes ago, and it's kind of insane. And in terms of what are they getting, they're getting a guy who at his peak has shown us that he's really freaking good at the game of football. We're talking about a former Heisman Trophy winner, former number 1 overall pick, former Rookie of the Year, former 3-time Pro Bowler, former NFL League MVP. And, really just to be able to get him at that kind of lowly price of $7.5 million for 1 year of mostly incentives, considering, they seem pretty much hard capped out at, I believe, $1.6 or $1.8 million a couple weeks ago when Mike and I did the Patriots team recap video. It's just a win-win for everybody because Cam Newton, obviously, he has a lot of doubters. There were not a bunch of destinations, clearly, considering it's late June and he's just being signed now. So it gives Cam a place where he's in a very good situation, full of a bunch of veterans ready to win now. Well, it also gives the Patriots that veteran quarterback that can elevate the rest of the roster as well. And, you just contrast that to what they had an hour ago with Jarrett Stidham. Well, the question marks of Stidham were completely different. Those question marks were, can this dude play in the NFL? Is this dude a top 32 quarterback? With Cam Newton, we already know the answers to those questions. The floor of the Patriots being a top 5 pick team, that's kind of out the window now, assuming that Cam can stay healthy. And that's the question mark on this side that we need to be worried about, because ultimately, if we get 90%, 80%, 70%, 60% of the Cam Newton we know and love, that's still probably better than what they had an hour ago in Jarrett Stidham as their starting QB. So, I just don't see how anybody can come out and act like either side of this deal lost, because, you want to talk about, of course, there are the question marks about not only his foot, the injury that, took him out last year, but also the shoulders, the injury that kind of sidelined him at the end of 2018, We all wanted to see this new throwing motion that I feel like he's been talking about for a decade now. Well, now we have to see potentially some new running mechanics as well. But again, when you're putting him in an offense where a lot of pressure is going to be alleviated off of him compared to Carolina, like Carolina didn't have weapons like this, and people last year want to act like Tom Brady is throwing to milkmen and plumbers. Well, that's not exactly true, because this is just a very talented top-to-bottom offense. Of course, no, this is not the best receiving core in the league. It's probably not even top 15. But where this team shines is in its offensive line and its ability to create time for their passers and allow these kind of subpar receivers to get open on their routes. And, you just want to talk about just this offensive line in general. I think that they are a top 5 unit. Well, when has Cam Newton ever had even a top 15 offensive line, And now you're putting a guy who, a lot of those runs, they were out of almost necessity, and that I feel like kind of caused a lot of his injuries. Well, now you're putting him in a great spot here, and you are giving him weapons compared to the Devin Funcheses of the world. I'll take Julian Edelman. I'll take first-round pick N'Keal Harry, who I think could have a really good breakout year as long as he develops a nice rapport with Newton. I'll take Mohamed Sanu. There's a reason that they traded so much for him this past season. I think that those are 3 really solid weapons, and then you just took 2 tight ends in the 3rd round of the draft. Obviously, we don't know exactly how those guys are going to translate, but again, just 2 young, dynamic players that you can have Cam Newton throw to underneath and up the seam. I don't mind it at all. And then you're going to put him with a good short yardage running back that you obviously invested a lot of capital in Sony Michel. But then you're going to supplement that with James White, which is almost the kind of the Christian McCaffrey to this situation now. You're talking about one of the best receiving backs in the league. I don't hate this at all for Cam Newton. I especially don't hate it for the New England Patriots. I know Mike and I we might come back on and do kind of an updated version of that team recap video, because the expectations are completely changed now with this team, or at least they should be, assuming Cam can stay healthy. But you're talking about a team with Jarrett Stidham that I thought was going to be in the 6, 7, maybe 8 win mark at really their peak. Well, now with Cam Newton, is this team even going to lose a step? And that's the serious question that we need to be asking, because even if he isn't 2015 Cam Newton, if he's 80% of that, I don't see a reason that the Patriots can't win the AFC East. And that's why, to me, it's a win-win for both sides, and I can't wait to see it on the field. I'm mic'd up. Now I'm mic'ing out, guys. Peace.